very clear that we have here a Judean city built in the time of King David, destroyed after 20 or 30 years, probably by the Philistines. And because of this destruction, everything has been frozen, and we have a biblical Pompeii.
What Dr. Yosef Garfinkel discovered at Jordan Valley changes everything beneath the sands of the Jordan Valley. Dr. Yosef Garfinkel uncovered a settlement older and more advanced than historians ever imagined. Walls, granaries, and artifacts hint at a society thriving long before Mesopotamia's first cities. In this video, we will find out if this forgotten village holds the true origins of civilization. The hidden village beneath the rift. It began quietly, just another archaeological survey in the sun-baked fields near the Jordan River. But when Dr. Yosef Garfinkel's team unearthed the first stone walls, their instruments began revealing something far larger than expected. Beneath the earth lay the remains of a vast settlement, its design astonishingly advanced for its supposed age, roughly 7,000 years old, dating to the early Chalcolithic period. The walls weren't crude or hastily built. They showed alignment, planning, and even traces of communal organization.
No, but somehow it's matching with the biblical tradition. This is the first time in the archaeology of Israel that we have a fortified city in Judah from the time of King David.
Garfinkel, known for his work at Khirbet Qeiyafa and Lachish, immediately sensed this was no ordinary dig. Pottery fragments displayed an artistry far beyond what was believed possible for the region's timeline, decorated with deliberate patterns, pigments, and geometric impressions that suggested symbolic meaning or trade influence. Then came the real shock. Massive storage jars, lined up in what appeared to be granaries. Chemical analysis later confirmed traces of barley and wheat, proof that this society practiced large-scale agriculture and grain management, long before such systems were thought to exist here. Even more puzzling was the layout. Pathways between dwellings hinted at a proto-urban grid, with separate zones for food preparation, storage, and perhaps ritual. Charcoal remains indicated cooking activity, while burial pits nearby contained decorated tools and beads, artifacts often linked with complex social structures. When Garfinkel presented his early findings to colleagues at the Hebrew University, the reaction was mixed, disbelief and awe in equal measure. If the dating held true, this Jordan Valley site predated key Mesopotamian hubs by centuries. It wasn't just an early village, it was a potential cradle of civilization hiding in plain sight. Unearthed wealth in the Jordan Valley. As excavation deepened, the discoveries began to defy even Garfinkel's expectations. What emerged was a snapshot of a society far wealthier, economically and culturally, than anyone had imagined for the region's era. The deeper his team dug, the more the soil surrendered treasures that hinted at a surprisingly advanced and interconnected community.
And over here we have this beautiful city which dates from the time of King David. And one of the most unusual facts about this city is this gate, this monumental gate that starts here, goes all the way over here, and there's another gate just like this.
Among the artifacts were finely crafted obsidian blades, not native to the Jordan Valley. Laboratory analysis later traced their origins to Anatolia, hundreds of kilometers away. This revelation sent shockwaves through the archaeological world. It meant one thing: trade routes existed here long before the Bronze Age. The people of the Jordan Valley weren't isolated farmers. They were early merchants, dealing in rare materials, perhaps even influencing cultures that later shaped Mesopotamia and Egypt. Next came the jewelry. Beads made of marine shells, polished stones, and copper fragments were uncovered, each item meticulously arranged in what appeared to be ritual caches. These objects revealed a people who valued beauty, symbolism, and possibly social rank. Some necklaces seemed deliberately broken and buried with specific individuals, suggesting beliefs in afterlife offerings or ancestor veneration. But the real surprise was architectural. Beneath a mound near the settlement's edge, Garfinkel's team found a circular structure lined with smooth stones and remnants of pigment on its walls. The colors, red, black, and white, had been applied in geometric patterns, the earliest known example of organized artistic design in the valley. Could this have been a temple, a communal hall? The discovery transformed the site from a simple settlement into something more, a hub of spiritual and material prosperity. Garfinkel's notes from that day captured the growing sense of wonder. They were not just surviving, they were thriving. Fruit trees. Before civilization? The next revelation came from an unexpected source: pollen and seed analysis. Garfinkel's team had been meticulously collecting soil samples from around the settlement, expecting to find traces of wild grains or early domesticated crops. What they discovered instead suggested a level of agricultural sophistication that challenged everything scholars thought they knew about the Fertile Crescent.
Among the finds was an ostracone with Proto-Hebrew, possibly the oldest Hebrew writing found to date. One of the most important artifacts is a small clay model of what could be the original first temple.
Chemical analysis confirmed cultivated barley and wheat, but alongside them were remnants of fig and olive trees, plants previously believed to have been domesticated centuries later. This suggested the inhabitants were managing orchards and gardens, deliberately planting and tending fruit-bearing trees long before conventional timelines allowed. The presence of figs and olives, both key staples for later civilizations, hinted that the Jordan Valley community had developed advanced agricultural techniques independently of Mesopotamia. Even more intriguing were the storage methods. Large clay silos, arranged in precise rows, contained layers of soil residues consistent with long-term grain and fruit preservation. This wasn't subsistence-level farming. It was a deliberate, organized effort to store and manage food across seasons. Such practices implied social coordination and perhaps even centralized authority to oversee resources. But the evidence went beyond agriculture. Analysis of surrounding pollen indicated irrigation or water management systems, suggesting that the settlers manipulated their environment to maximize yields. They weren't just harvesting. They were engineering sustainability. These findings sparked debates across archaeological circles. How could such sophisticated food management exist before the rise of city-states in Mesopotamia? Could the Jordan Valley be the missing piece of the puzzle explaining early human settlement and societal growth in the Near East? For Garfinkel, the implications were staggering. Fruit trees and granaries weren't just evidence of survival, they were a blueprint for societal complexity. The valley wasn't merely a home, it was a laboratory for the earliest experiments in agriculture, economy, and community planning. And if agriculture began here, the ripple effects for our understanding of human history are profound. Storerooms of power and trade. Beneath the surface of the Jordan Valley settlement, Garfinkel's team uncovered what could only be described as storerooms, massive, carefully constructed chambers designed to hold vast quantities of grain and goods. The scale was unprecedented for a Chalcolithic site, hinting at centralized control and economic organization far earlier than previously believed.
Every exhibition that we do is designed to really bring people to come and understand, to appreciate our history. I'm hoping that this exhibition will connect people to the land, bring people out here to the Ella Valley to come and see these incredible sites, but also to understand the importance of our history.
These granaries were lined with stone and clay, featuring ventilation systems to keep contents dry and positioned to allow easy access for distribution. The arrangement suggested not random storage, but deliberate planning, possibly overseen by an emerging governing authority. Whoever controlled these resources would have wielded considerable power. Food was life, and controlling it meant controlling society. Adding to the intrigue were imported goods found alongside local crops, obsidian tools from Anatolia, seashells from the Mediterranean coast, and copper fragments from distant mines indicated a network of trade far broader than expected. The settlement wasn't isolated. It was part of an interconnected world of commerce, exchange, and perhaps even diplomacy. Artifacts like small seals and stamp impressions pointed to early administrative systems. These may have been used to track grain allocation or ownership, representing one of the earliest examples of record-keeping in human history. It was a proto-bureaucracy, suggesting the society understood accountability and regulation centuries before city-states became standard in Mesopotamia. Even more striking was the organization of labor. Evidence showed specialized roles. Some residents maintained granaries, others tended orchards, while artisans crafted tools and jewelry. Such division of labor indicated a social hierarchy, coordinated effort, and an economy sophisticated enough to support specialization. Garfinkel's discovery revealed a society thriving on both agriculture and trade, with social structures emerging organically to manage complexity. These storerooms were not mere storage spaces. They were the backbone of power, a testament to early human ingenuity, and a blueprint for civilization itself. If this level of organization existed here, the Jordan Valley may not have been a peripheral settlement. It could have been a central hub in the earliest chapters of human societal development. Seeds of social hierarchy. Beyond walls, granaries, and imported goods, Garfinkel's team began noticing patterns in the settlement that hinted at social stratification. This wasn't a flat, egalitarian village. It was a community with ranks, roles, and perhaps even early forms of leadership. Evidence appeared in the dwellings themselves. Some homes were substantially larger, constructed with more durable materials, and positioned strategically near communal resources like granaries and water sources. Others were modest, smaller, and clustered on the settlement's periphery. The architectural variants suggested a hierarchy of wealth or status. Residents closer to resources likely held higher social standing.
The archaeology of the land of Israel is our history. It is the Bible, and if we take exhibitions like the one we're creating in the Valley of David and Goliath, and we bring together archaeological evidence with biblical quotes and some pretty snazzy design and wonderful pieces on display, we have an opportunity to really bring people back into connection with our history.
Burial practices reinforced this interpretation. Bodies found in certain zones were accompanied by jewelry, ornaments, and finely crafted tools, while others received minimal offerings. Some graves even contained food storage jars or seeds, implying the deceased maintained economic or ritual influence in life. The disparity in burial goods hints at emerging class distinctions and possibly inherited social status. The administration of food also reflected hierarchy. Large storage rooms were likely controlled by a few, regulating access to grain and dried fruit. AI analysis of wear patterns on storage containers suggests repeated, organized handling rather than random usage. Controlling essential resources would confer authority, forming the earliest seeds of political and social power in the Jordan Valley. Trade further solidified hierarchy. Imported obsidian, copper, and shells were likely reserved for elites or ritual use. Their presence in specific areas of the settlement indicates access was restricted and symbolic of higher standing. Artisans crafting intricate jewelry or ritual objects may have worked under patronage systems, reflecting early economic dependency. What emerges is a society experimenting with structure and governance, long before conventional city-states arose. The Jordan Valley wasn't just cultivating crops, it was cultivating order, hierarchy, and social complexity. If these patterns hold, Dr. Garfinkel has uncovered one of humanity's earliest blueprints for organized, stratified communities, a discovery that could rewrite our understanding of how civilization began. From stones to seals, early admin at work. The next breakthrough at the Jordan Valley site came in the form of small but powerful artifacts, clay seals and impressions. These seemingly insignificant objects revealed an unprecedented level of administrative sophistication for a settlement previously thought to be pre-civilization.
This 3,000-year-old pot bears the name Eshbaal, the name of one of King Saul's sons, which the scriptures write was beheaded. For archaeologists, discovering a name inscribed in a pot in Canaanite script brings the Bible to life.
The seals were circular or rectangular, carved with geometric patterns, symbols, and occasionally depictions of animals. When pressed into soft clay, they marked ownership or documented transactions, proof that the community had begun formalizing trade, storage, and accountability. AI-assisted analysis of repeated motifs indicated that individual seals belonged to specific households or officials, suggesting a system of personal or familial authority. Beyond identification, the placement of seals in granaries, storerooms, and workshops implies a centralized oversight mechanism. Grain allocations, resource control, and possibly even labor organization were being tracked systematically. These administrative practices predate the first Mesopotamian record-keeping systems, meaning the Jordan Valley may have been an incubator for bureaucratic innovation. Even the most utilitarian tools show signs of planning. Stone grinders, storage vessels, and pottery were standardized in shape and size, hinting at regulatory oversight, another layer of early administration. The granaries, combined with sealed storage jars, reveal an organized economy that could support specialization, trade, and hierarchy. The discovery also provides insight into early literacy. While there are no full written texts, the symbols on the seals represent proto-writing, a visual language communicating ownership, status, and transaction. It was an embryonic system designed for efficiency, accountability, and governance. For Garfinkel, the implications were clear. This was no simple farming village. It was a hub of early administration, economic control, and social order. Stones were not just building materials, they were tools of authority. Seals were not just decorations, they were instruments of governance. The Jordan Valley settlement was beginning to resemble a proto-city, with social, economic, and administrative systems functioning long before previously assumed. Civilization, it seems, may have first taken root here, quietly, in stone and clay, crossing cultures. Anatolia, Mesopotamia, and the Valley Garfinkel's Jordan Valley discoveries were remarkable on their own, but the evidence of far-reaching connections stunned archaeologists worldwide. Imported obsidian, copper, and seashells hinted at trade networks stretching across Anatolia, Mesopotamia, and the Mediterranean. It was a node in an emerging web of early civilization.
Here, what we try to do is to really create the city. So we recreated one of the gates, the city gates. And we try to give the idea of what was the house looking like and what were all the activities in the house, like the kitchen, like the cult activity, the warehouse, and really to give the audience the possibility to really feel the city, that is like entering and visiting the city.
Chemical and isotopic analyses confirmed the obsidian originated in central Anatolia, hundreds of kilometers away. Copper fragments traced back to distant mining regions in the Levant. Even some ceramic styles mirrored early Mesopotamian patterns, suggesting cultural exchange or influence. Such findings indicate that the Jordan Valley inhabitants were not just farmers. They were participants in proto-globalization, trading goods, ideas, and possibly rituals. Archaeologists also noted shared architectural concepts. Circular and rectangular building patterns found in the valley mirrored contemporaneous Anatolian and Mesopotamian settlements. While local materials were used, design principles reveal an awareness of broader cultural norms, suggesting knowledge transfer, migration, or artisan exchange. Even everyday tools carried cross-cultural influence. Grinding stones, sickles, and storage vessels exhibited styles and production techniques found in Anatolia or northern Mesopotamia. The Jordan Valley was absorbing external innovations, adapting them to local needs, and perhaps exporting its own methods in return. This interaction extends beyond material culture. AI-assisted analysis of symbolic motifs on seals and pottery suggested proto-writing conventions influenced by neighboring regions. Patterns repeated across borders may have functioned as a common language for trade or religious symbolism. What emerges is a society at the crossroads of early civilization, capable of local innovation while integrating external knowledge. Far from being peripheral, the Jordan Valley was a hub, an incubator where cultural, technological, and economic currents converged. Centuries before the first recognized city-states flourished in Mesopotamia, Garfinkel's discovery reframes the region not as a backwater, but as a critical player in the story of early human development. The Jordan Valley wasn't just building settlements, it was building bridges across civilizations, rewriting agriculture's origin story. Until Garfinkel's discovery, the dominant narrative placed the origins of large-scale agriculture in northern Mesopotamia. Wheat, barley, and olive cultivation were thought to spread southward from well-established city-states. But the Jordan Valley settlement challenges that timeline, suggesting that organized farming and orchards were already thriving here, independently and perhaps earlier than previously believed. Analysis of soil and plant remains revealed sophisticated cultivation techniques. Barley and wheat weren't just grown, they were selectively bred and stored for long-term use. Figs, olives, and other fruit trees were carefully tended, suggesting knowledge of seasons, irrigation, and soil management. This was not subsistence farming. It was an organized system designed for efficiency, sustainability, and surplus. Surplus agriculture implies social complexity. Managing crops at this scale requires planning, labor coordination, and a system for distributing resources, elements foundational to civilization. Combined with granaries, proto-administrative seals, and trade networks, it is clear the Jordan Valley community was mastering food security centuries before Mesopotamian cities codified similar systems. The discovery also reframes the diffusion of agriculture. Rather than a single fertile crescent origin, evidence now suggests multiple centers of innovation. Communities like Garfinkel's Jordan Valley settlement may have independently developed techniques that later spread or coincided with Mesopotamian practices. Moreover, the presence of fruit trees points to dietary diversity, ritual practices, and economic specialization. Olive oil and figs were not just food. They were commodities, possibly traded or used in ceremonial contexts. This early integration of agriculture and economy indicates an unprecedented sophistication for the period. The implications are profound. The Jordan Valley may have been a cradle of farming innovation, a place where humans first learned to manipulate crops systematically, create storage systems, and distribute surplus. Civilization, it appears, wasn't born in a single valley or city. It emerged wherever humans first learned to transform the land and organize their communities. If the Jordan Valley reclaims its place in agricultural history, our textbooks and understanding of human progress must change forever. The big question, why did it matter? The discoveries in the Jordan Valley are astonishing, but the deeper question remains, why did this settlement matter in the grand sweep of human history? What makes this site so pivotal isn't merely its age or wealth. It's what it tells us about the evolution of society, economy, and culture. The evidence of large-scale agriculture, trade networks, and proto-administration indicates a society capable of planning, coordination, and innovation. These are hallmarks of civilization, yet they predate the established urban centers of Mesopotamia by centuries. The Jordan Valley settlement forces historians to reconsider the narrative of first cities, first empires, and first bureaucracies. Civilization wasn't a sudden invention. It was an emergent process with multiple hubs experimenting, thriving, and exchanging knowledge simultaneously. Social hierarchy, evident in differentiated dwellings and burial goods, suggests governance, leadership, and possibly inherited status. Combined with administrative seals and granary management, it paints a picture of a society that was organized, regulated, and capable of sustaining population growth. The seeds of political and economic power were being sown here long before the temples and palaces of Mesopotamia or Egypt. Moreover, trade and cultural exchange connect the valley to broader regions, Anatolia, Mesopotamia, and the Mediterranean. Far from being isolated, these people were part of early interregional networks, transmitting goods, ideas, and perhaps technology. They were active participants in a growing web of civilization, not passive precursors. The Jordan Valley settlement also shifts our understanding of innovation. Agriculture, storage, trade, and social stratification were not linear developments starting in one location. They emerged in multiple regions, responding to local geography, climate, and opportunity. This site challenges the notion of a single cradle of civilization, suggesting a more nuanced, decentralized origin. Ultimately, the question is philosophical as well as historical. Why did humans begin organizing themselves, controlling resources, and exchanging ideas? The Jordan Valley may hold the answer, showing that these processes arose wherever opportunity, ingenuity, and necessity intersected. What this means for the story of mankind. Dr. Yosef Garfinkel's Jordan Valley discoveries are more than an archaeological milestone. They are a challenge to the entire story of human civilization. For decades, textbooks have placed the origin of complex society firmly in Mesopotamia or Egypt. Now, evidence suggests that long before city-states and empires, humans were building organized, prosperous communities in the Jordan Valley. This settlement demonstrates that agriculture, trade, and social hierarchy emerged not as isolated phenomena, but as interconnected processes across regions. Large-scale grain storage, orchards, and proto-administrative systems indicate an advanced understanding of resource management. Granaries were not merely functional, they were instruments of authority, reflecting early governance. Trade in obsidian, copper, and seashells reveals networks of exchange stretching hundreds of kilometers, connecting distant cultures in ways historians never imagined. The social stratification uncovered, differentiated dwellings, burial offerings, and elite artifacts shows that humans were experimenting with hierarchy, labor specialization, and cultural symbolism long before traditional city-states arose. Even small details, like seals and symbolic motifs, hint at proto-writing and early bureaucratic organization, demonstrating that literacy and record-keeping were tools of power and cohesion. In short, the Jordan Valley settlement is not an anomaly. It is evidence that civilization was a multi-nodal, decentralized process. Innovation did not wait for urban centers to emerge. It arose wherever humans mastered agriculture, organization, and trade. It forces us to reconsider the chronology, geography, and mechanisms behind the rise of civilization itself. The implications extend beyond archaeology. This discovery reframes humanity's story. Civilization was not the product of a single region or culture, but a mosaic of experimental communities, each contributing to the evolution of society, economy, and governance. The Jordan Valley whispers a profound truth. Our ancestors were already building the foundations of the modern world long before the first cities appeared on the map. Dr. Garfinkel's discovery rewrites the narrative of civilization, revealing advanced agriculture, trade, and social structure centuries earlier than thought. The Jordan Valley emerges as a critical hub in human history. Subscribe, comment, and explore with us the hidden origins of organized society that challenge everything we knew.